In the past year, we have had 3 superhero movies come out: Wonder Woman 1984, Black Widow, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Wonder Woman 84 turned out to be hot flaming diarrhea, Black Widow did not live up to expectations, and became one of the MCU's most average movies. And out of the 3, only Zack Snyder's Justice League was good and actually became my favorite superhero movie. My expectations for the Suicide Squad movie were high. I really wanted this James Gunn helmed Suicide Squad movie to be good. And I gotta say, James Gunn, you didn't disappoint. The Suicide Squad is the latest entry in the DC Extended Universe. Not a reboot to the 2016 Suicide Squad, but also not exactly a sequel. It is directed by James Gunn, the same man responsible for helming Guardians of the Galaxy, and I gotta say he may be the most perfect guy to handle a movie like this. Now I am going to talk about this movie in depth, which means spoiling some major scenes from this movie, so if you plan on watching this movie, this is your last chance to click off. Okay? Alright, so the story isn't anything new for a standard Suicide Squad story. A group of villains go to complete a certain Black Ops off the books mission while tied to an explosive in their head. Just like most Suicide Squad depictions, Amanda Waller is overlooking the mission, and the mission itself is pretty straightforward. I'm going to give a rundown of the actual movie events, so bear with me. So the movie starts off by showing a handful of villains part of Team 1, which is a distraction team, although none of them really know that. Team 1 enters Corto Maltese, but ends up annihilated by the military forces, leaving only Harley and Rick Flag alive. All while Team 2 is the actual infiltration team. The last survivors of Team 1 get apprehended, and Team 2 goes on a side mission of sorts to save them in what can only be described as a dick measuring contest between Bloodsport and Peacemaker. Meanwhile, Harley is trapped by Corto Maltese soldiers, and the events that play out with her aren't that important, to be honest. James Gunn really likes focusing in on his characters, so it's no surprise he spends a lot of time showing the flaws and fears of these characters, opening them up a bit to make them more grounded. But these scenes with Harley have pretty much been done in Birds of Prey. Like, we get the point. She has problems with Joker, yet has feelings for him, yada yada yada. The scene in and of itself is funny, but the actual context isn't anything new that we are seeing. So with Harley's character, it's just a redo of the same point but presented in a different way. And so I just found it to be more of a scene to drag the runtime more than anything else. Anyways, fast forward, the team saves Harley, captures Gaius Greaves, not in that order, and then infiltrates Jotunheim. The band of villains break into Jotunheim and split into two, Team 1 placing bombs, Team 2 checking out Project Starfish. The scenes with Team 1 pretty much serve as comedic moments, which I don't mind at all. The biggest important thing was that the bombs going off in the building earlier due to circumstances. Team 2, however, had the more important moment in the movie. So it turns out this Save the World mission set up by Amanda Waller is more of a Black Ops cover-up mission for the US's involvement in Project Starfish. Rick Flag wants to expose the US, which leads to a fight with Peacemaker, and my boy, Rick Flag, dies like the hero he is. And then Peacemaker gets shot by Bloodsport. And cue the final fight with Starro. Again, this was a brief rundown. I wasn't gonna go really in depth because there's a lot to tackle here, but pretty much you get the gist of the story. There isn't anything bad I can say about the story itself, since I really enjoyed it, even on rewatches. So if you haven't noticed, which I don't know how you didn't notice, but the new Suicide Squad movie is running around with an R rating, and rightfully so. There is a whole lot of gore in this movie, and it doesn't shy away from it at all. Like, the starting of the movie is a literal bloodbath, and it remains that way through and through, till like the very end. The R rating works perfectly for the movie because for a movie called The Suicide Squad, in which characters go on off-the-books Black Ops missions, you would expect some pretty messed up shit, and James Gunn knows how to deliver. This movie doesn't ease into the depths of characters, it kinda just drops it like, boom, you looking for this? You can tell just by watching how much fun James Gunn had making this film just through how he delivers the gore and violence in this movie. The R rating allows for more creativity, and James Gunn kinda just rolls with it. So the characters. Characters in this movie, very well written, each being different from one another and having unique abilities and personalities. James Gunn really knows how to make a band of characters no one really gives a shit about and turn them into beloved characters that audiences actually want to see more on screen. So the movie promised a big cast of characters, and it did deliver, kind of. Most of the characters that are introduced in the start part of Team 1 die off pretty quickly, leaving only Harley and Rick Flag alive. The main focus of this movie is on Team 2, Bloodsport, Ratcatcher, Peacemaker, King Shark, and Polka Dot Man. This team later expands to include Harley and Rick Flag. Harley Quinn is still one of the best characters overall, but Ratcatcher manages to become the heart of the film. Bloodsport and Ratcatcher have a really nice heart-to-heart, and I like how we learn about the character's past as the movie goes on, which actually affects the movie going forward. I liked Rick Flag's character in the 2016 movie, and in this he is vastly improved. Polka Dot Man is a very neat character, and I wish they didn't kill him off because he really felt like a crucial part of the team. There isn't much to say about Peacemaker, but I'm excited he's getting a show because I really want to see where DC takes his character. And finally, King Shark is pretty much the Groot of Suicide Squad, but honestly you can't really hate him.
Bird. Now it. Stay off the comm.
So the comedy in this film is good. It isn't downright bad. There are a lot of actual funny moments that I laughed at even during my second watch, but most of the funniest scenes in this movie were already shown in the trailer, so you are kind of expecting it. Something I like, however, is that the movie doesn't overdo the comedy. It keeps it at a perfect medium. Now, even though I really love this movie and consider it one of DC's best, there are some personal things that I don't like. For one, I didn't like them killing off a handful of characters in the start. My expectations going into the film were that many of these characters were going to die throughout the film, leaving us with the main cast of characters at the end, but many of them literally just die in the beginning, and it's kind of sad because there could have been a lot more opportunities with a wide cast of characters. Another thing, I didn't like how Captain Boomerang was treated. I mean, a character who was part of the original Suicide Squad, you would expect him to make it farther into the film, but he gets treated the same way as most of the characters, which is a shame really, considering he was one of the good parts of the original. This is one of DCEU's best movie, and I just really enjoyed watching it multiple times, so I'm giving this movie a 8.5 out of 10. That's pretty much it. I will try to get more videos out there, hopefully some things related to Dramatize Me, because they've been posting some weird shit. Some more gameplay. I'm planning on doing Crisis Remastered. That's probably going to be my next video, and probably going to do some Fallen Order after that. But yeah, I don't know how to do an outro, so see ya.